Good evening. Free school meals for every child at primary school in London. That's what the Mayor offered today, in a move that will benefit 270,000 children in the capital. Sadiq Khan said he was doing it to tackle what he called the government's failure to step up and support in the cost of living crisis. But the bold £130 million announcement was met by a couple of key questions from critics. Where's the money coming from and why isn't it means tested? Here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
Meat Free Monday at Fircroft Primary, and the school's most famous old boy is paying a visit. When Sadiq Khan was a pupil here, his school dinners were free. Today, he announced every child in London, aged between 7 and 11, will get free school meals from September.
I think some things in life are universal. The state pension, access to good healthcare, free school meals.
Is this the first shot in your re-election campaign?
No, this is not about my re-election campaign. This is not about party politics. It's about supporting those who are the most vulnerable.
At the Mayor's old school in Tooting, a new generation of food critics are honing their skills.
They're good, but sometimes they could be improved. Sometimes I like the meals and sometimes I don't.
I think it's really good because some parents can't afford for their child to have hot meals every day.
They won't be hungry and they'll be full and they can concentrate on lessons more.
It's thought 270,000 children will be eligible. City Hall says it represents a saving of £440 a year for every youngster.
We have to look at it, I think, as a slightly different perspective, as it being a free school meal. It's a meal. It's a meal and it should be part of the curriculum, the same as having school books. It's part of everything, part of social etiquette, part of building and bonding together. It allows people from different backgrounds to be able to be socially integrated.
The free meals are a last-minute addition to the Mayor's budget, just days before it goes to the London Assembly for approval.
Sadiq Khan says he's found the £130 million to pay for the scheme because the money City Hall is getting from council tax and business rates is more than expected. Earlier this year, the Mayor announced his share of council tax would go up by a record amount, nearly 10%.
There was wide support for the scheme, even from the Mayor's political opponents, although City Hall Tories think he could do more to offset the cost of living.
I think there's other things the Mayor can be doing. He should be helping by not raising council tax, by not making people pay a ULEZ charge this year. Those are things that he can really do to help as well. So, there's a question of how he's raised this money, and there's also a question here about how he's spending it. But it is really good that so many families are going to benefit from having these free school meals.
City Hall described the offer of free meals as a one-off, which will run for 12 months.
Well, ULEZ was just mentioned there, wasn't it? I mean, it's given him a brief respite from all the ULEZ troubles, but they're not going away, are they?
No, there's no let-up in the pressure on him to postpone his plans to extend the ultra-low emission zone to cover all of Greater London. As we heard last week, there's going to be a challenge in the courts. And today, the Lib Dems have disputed Transport for London's figures that only 200,000 drivers will be affected by the new zone. They say they've analysed data from DVLA and it proves that more than 1.5 million cars or vans could be liable for a fine if their drivers don't pay the £12.50 a day charge.
All right, Simon, thanks very much.
You've got people commuting into London from outside London who are nurses, who are teachers, who aren't in well-paid jobs. They're living outside London because they can't afford to live in London. And now they're going to get clobbered by the Mayor. Now, we just don't think that's fair. We think they should have access to a fund to help them switch vehicles at the very least, and the national government should come in and help pay for that.
The Lib Dems think the Mayor should postpone the ULEZ expansion somehow to London councils, think it should be cancelled altogether. But he's sticking to his guns, arguing that 4,000 Londoners a year die from toxic air, and that's more important than anything else.
All right, Simon, thanks very much. It was supposed to be relocating to Dagenham for the first time in 800 years, but the plans for Smithfield Market could be in doubt tonight. And the reason centres on an ancient medieval law that Havering Council could enforce. Well, our political correspondent Simon Harris is there for us. Simon, what more do you know about this?
Well, as you say, Charlene, there's been a meat market at Smithfield for more than 800 years. While most of us are still asleep, the traders are busy selling their meat to restaurants and hotels, to butchers and suppliers. But the Corporation of London wants to move Smithfield, along with Billingsgate Fish Market, to a new site at Dagenham Dock. It says the £1 billion project will help regenerate that part of East London and allow Smithfield to be redeveloped. But before it can happen, Parliament must first pass a new law. However, Havering Council is threatening to challenge the move using a very old law. In 1247, King Henry III granted a royal charter to Romford Market in Havering, which basically says no other market can exist within a radius of a day's sheep drive of Romford. Now, a day's sheep drive turns out to be 6.6 miles, and the new market site at Dagenham Dock is within that distance. Havering councillors fear the meat traders will take business from their historic market in Romford. So they're demanding that it's written into law that the new market will be wholesale only and have no retail element at all, so complying with King Henry's 760-year-old royal charter.
We shall see what happens next. Simon, thanks very much.
But first, more bad news for commuters in the capital as tube drivers have voted to go on strike next month. Members of the ASLEF union voted overwhelmingly in favour of further industrial action. Our political correspondent Simon Harris is at Russell Square Underground station for us tonight. Simon, when exactly is this walkout taking place then?
Lucrezia, it's on Wednesday, March the 15th, the same day as the Chancellor's budget. And because it involves members of the drivers' union, ASLEF, it's likely to bring most or all of the tube network to a standstill. If there are no drivers, the trains can't run. It's as simple as that. As we know, there have been a number of strikes in the public sector over pay in recent weeks, but this one isn't about pay. It's about terms and conditions. It's not about pay on account of the fact that tube workers got an increase of more than 8% last year. But what they are angry about is a suggestion that their pensions might be reformed. The government ordered TfL to draw up options for revising the TfL pension scheme. And while TfL management says there are no concrete proposals, that doesn't satisfy the unions. The RMT has held 6 strikes over the issue, but this will be the first by ASLEF.
We are not asking for anything from management to improve conditions. We're not asking for extra pay. We're simply asking that if there are changes to be made, and we understand the financial pressure that TfL is under, those changes are made by agreement. The base problem is that the government is refusing to properly fund public transport in London.
We also learned today of the next strike by London ambulance workers, paramedics, drivers and control room staff. Members of Unison will walk out 2 weeks today.
All right, Simon and Russell Square, thank you.
And the ULEZ expansion will be the subject of fiery discussion, no doubt, on tonight's edition of The Late Debate. Here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris, with the look ahead. Si.
Oh yes, Charlene, lively debate on the programme tonight. We'll be asking how much trouble the Mayor is in over ULEZ. On the evidence of today, he's determined to press ahead. As if he's not got enough on his plate, he also wants to reopen the debate about rejoining the European single market. We'll hear from some London businesses about their post-Brexit problems attracting staff. And we'll be talking to the man with one of the toughest jobs in politics. Greg Hands, the Chelsea and Fulham MP, as Conservative Party chair. It's his job to win the next election for the Tories. That's The Late Debate here on ITV1 after News at 10.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Simon.
It's 3 years since Britain left the EU, and as if he's not got enough on his plate, London's mayor thinks it's time for a fresh debate about rejoining the single market. His argument is that Brexit has caused immense damage to London's economy.
It's the middle of the day in the middle of the week and the tables are set. But at this Michelin star restaurant on the edge of the city, no one's coming for lunch.
It's lunchtime and the restaurant is closed. We have people passing by and we are not able to trade. It's such a shame. And this is thanks to the Brexit.
The owner, Pascal, can't do a lunch service because he hasn't got enough staff and he blames Brexit. He's struggling to recruit kitchen porters, runners and pastry chefs.
We're just starting with a new pastry chef just now, but it took like 9 months to get one pastry chef, which that never happened in 25 years in my business in a Michelin star restaurant.
A world away from Michelin stars, the owner of a garment factory in Haringey is facing the same challenge as Pascal. For years, the company relied on stitchers from East European countries like Romania and Hungary.
We still have this type of, background, even if as your mother, as your aunt showing to you how to knit something, how crocheting something. This is part of, the everyday life, that people are doing it.
But Brexit has changed everything.
People were very upset. They felt as though they weren't wanted in the country, and I think I had about 6 people leave in total. Immediately leave. And then since then, we've had a reoccurring problem where we just cannot attract people to come from East European, and that's where we've got 98% of our stitchers are all East European.
It's 3 years since Britain left the EU. Sadiq Khan, who campaigned for Remain, believes the Brexit fallout has hit London's economy especially hard.
What we need to do is have closer links with our nearest trading partners. All these successful countries around the world have good trading links with their neighbours, alignment with their neighbours, and I think we should be talking about also the elephant in the room, which is joining the single market, joining the customs union, which you can do even outside the European Union.
That's not Labour policy, and some business leaders question the Mayor's strategy.
I don't agree with his solution, which is to go back into the single market and rejoin the customs union. I think we have to start from the point of view of understanding each other first, and then we adopt solutions based on what we feel we understand and what we need.
In the city, Brexit is just one item on Pascal's menu of troubles. The customer drought caused by working from home, energy bills and food costs are all putting pressure on his business.